let's wind the clocks back all the way to 2010. I just found out who the Nostalgia Critic is. I was like browsing through Channel Awesome. I watched a lot of his videos, not all of them. I just watched the episodes where I knew what the movie was, like um, Free Willy and Moonwalker and all that shit. And along the way, I found like there's this anniversary movie called Kickassia, and I found out about all these people who are working at the site at the time, and I'm like, okay, these are interesting people, and I figured out like I was watching it and I was wondering who is this cinema snob, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna see what it is, and whatever it is, and so like eventually I came across another Nostalgia Critic video, and it was the crossover he did with a cinema snob, and yeah, I was like, who is this? Like he's funny, but he's not as funny as the NC. And then eventually, after going through the Nostalgia Critic episodes over and over again, I'm like, okay, I might as well just watch somebody else. So I just browsed around the site and I just saw Cinema Snob, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go down the list, and I'm like, oh, he did Troll 2, and I clicked on it, and I was watching it, and I'm like, oh my god, what is? Is the review did the review start? Is the review starting right now? He keeps talking. I don't even know what he's doing. Why isn't he like the Nostalgia Critic? I don't like him right now. He's not the Nostalgia Critic. He should have been. He should be the Nostalgia Critic. And I struggled with it for the first time with the Troll 2 episode, and I just like, screw it. I'm not doing this. I'm just gonna watch more Nostalgia Critic. So I just kept watching it more and more. And so what happened was, uh, it's like, yeah, it's okay, fine. So I just kept watching it until he like retired the character, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have to watch something else. And one day after I started working, I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and just like I watched Wreck-It Ralph, and back when I was on DVD and I was going to borrow it from the library and I had to return, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch Wreck-It Ralph, and then I was on my laptop at the library, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go over here, and I'm like, wait, midnight screenings, what the hell is this? And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna look at this, and I just like, okay, this is fine, and then I just, went through the midnight screenings with the movies that I already watched, and I don't care if they were spoiled or movies that I know I'm not gonna watch, but and I just like, okay, let's this. And this is back when Jake Norville was a thing. Like Jake was on the site before the whole controversy, and I was really entertained by him because he was screaming and shouting. I'm like, this guy's like the Nostalgia Critic, except he's like uncensored, like more uncensored, and he's just so angry. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I just saw watched the midnight screening just with him, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be good. And then eventually it just went in my mind like, maybe I should watch a Cinema Snob episode while I'm just on my laptop. So I just watched it like every Thursday afternoon. I would just be on my laptop and I would just listen to on my earphones while I kind of looking at the Cinema Snob. I'm like, okay, let's see, okay. And it's like I'm like, just not barely paying attention. And then eventually, like it went on to, okay, he's actually getting funny. It's like, what's this? Oh, this is actually pretty entertaining. And I'm like, okay, this is funnier and funnier and funnier. And I couldn't stop, and I kept going with it. And it's like, okay, I'm just gonna like go ahead and do things with my own channel. And so, like, like with the Nostalgia Critic was with my movie reviews. The Cinema Snob was for the music video show. Because I started the music video show the first two seasons. The first season of the music video show was more what was it called? What was the thing? It was video on trial. It was pretty much video on trial, if you've heard of the show. And then the second season, I was inspired by like drama-based things like having a plot and story, sort of like Linkara. And then when I watched the Cinema Snob a lot, and I eventually came back after that 2-year hiatus, it was the Cinema Snob. Like, I was extremely inspired by the Cinema Snob. like I used to do commentaries, Mystery Science Theater type commentaries because of the Cinema Snob and Game Grumps, who I might talk about later on, but I'm not sure. But season three, like the entirety of season three of the music video show, was because I watched so much Cinema Snob. Like I took a lot from Nostalgia Critic from my movie reviews, which I regret my movie reviews right now. But with season three of the Cinema Snob, no, season three of the music video show was like I took a lot from the Cinema Snob in terms of snarkiness. Like I wrote like the Cinema Snob and I tried to like do things on my own. I'm like, okay. And honestly, so far, season three is my personal favorite season so far because that's pretty much when everything was like good. Everything for me, everything was just typed up and well addressed. Like all I did was just make jokes constantly. Like I was so light. It felt so light on my feet. Everything felt so light to me. Doing that season was because of the Cinema Snob. All I did, I took a few instances, not a lot, but a few instances from the Cinema Snob. I'm like, okay, what would he do? And I'm like, okay, snark, snark, snark. I'm like, I'm gonna be snarky, but I'm not gonna be like what I did with the music video hipster, which is the music video hipster, which I did for episode 43, or the Michael Jackson's Ghost episode. That was because I was inspired by the Cinema Snob. Well, I was making fun of the Cinema Snob, and I was being a hipster while being a snob at the same time with no distinct difference. But yeah. So I do like finding him actually kind of helped my writing because as when I was ripping off the Nostalgia Critic, I didn't do much. I just shouted all the time. But with the Nostalgia Critic, the Cinema Snob, it was more like I can relax. Like with Brad Jones of the Cinema Snob is like, okay, I can actually relax. Like I can be inspired by him because he can make it look so easy. And I'm thought, if I can take it easier on myself, I can actually like make better jokes. And in terms of like season 3, 4, not 5, 6, or 7, some of 8, and this current season 9, because I'm watching his videos and I'm actually inspired. It's more like, holy shit, I can actually like take a breather and take it easy. And in terms like I like to say thank you, Brad Jones. Like if it wasn't for you for your character, like the snob, if it wasn't for your snob character, season 3 wouldn't either exist or exist in a way which season 3 would either not be existing or it would be completely different, to be honest. Like it's actually really, really good just to like watch someone who actually is like the Nostalgia Critic is fine. It's just I haven't watched him in a while because watching Brad Jones's videos is actually something I like doing. Like hell, I edited an episode while I was watching his Heaven's Gate episode. Like I should probably bring back. I don't know. I should probably bring back the music video hipster just for one episode because it's been a few years since season 2. And so yeah, that's mostly what I have to say. I just wanted to like make a video just talking about how this one character and what is a main influence on my channel. Like you don't see it, not many people have seen it, my show, but yeah, it's been a major influence. And on top of that, I met some really cool people who talked to him, but yeah, like, these people are really cool, and one of them talks about the Snob a lot, the other talks about the Snob, but at the same time talks about a show which I also like, which is Supernatural. So it's like, yeah, this is actually a pretty good thing going on here. And I actually hope to meet more people who actually, like, on Twitter, not in real life, but on Twitter, and I talk to them, and they're funny, and they're incredible, and they're creative, and like I said on the Supernatural thing, another person, like the Supernatural person, or the person who likes Supernatural, I'm rambling, sorry, the person who likes Supernatural is like great creative, and we talk constantly about Supernatural to the point where we both ended up watching the current season of Supernatural at the same time and just tweeting about it to each other, and it's like awesome. This is awesome. Yeah, I never had that in a while. But yeah, I'd like to say thank you, Brad Jones, and thank you, Cinema Snob, for like helping me write better, think of creative ways to think of things, and thank you for having me like getting like having me find these people on Twitter and just being pretty cool people, you know. So yeah, that's all I gotta say, and thank you for watching this thing, and I will see you another time. Thank you.